This session is going to be about eating right for your brain. You see, optimal nutrition is the most important factor in keeping your brain healthy. Feeding your brain is not something most of us actually know how to do. We know maybe how to lose weight or how to keep our heart healthy, but we never thought of how does our diet affect our brain. What you put in your mouth provides all the raw materials for building the structure of your brain cells and keeping all the communication systems running coherently so you can think, emote, learn, remember. Feeling fully energized and maintaining great brain health ultimately requires taking out the bad stuff and putting in the good stuff, including your food choices and all your lifestyle choices. See, many of us get too little good food, too few nutrients, not enough natural light, not enough clean air or water, not enough rest or sleep or regular rhythm or exercise, and not enough community or connection or love or meaning or purpose in our life. We're exposed to far too much poor quality food, far too much stress, so many toxins, and a lot of allergens in our diet and the environment. The good news is that with these strategies, you can eliminate the bad stuff to cultivate your best brain ever. First off, let's start by talking about sugar, my favorite topic. If you've ever eaten something sugary and then crashed a little later and felt absolutely miserable, you know how sugar can contribute to depression. In fact, multiple studies have actually confirmed sugar consumption highly correlates to depression. It's time to become a detective and find and avoid the sources of sugar in your diet, which are more prevalent than you think. The average American consumes about 152 pounds of sugar a year. That's roughly 22 teaspoons a day for every single person in America. And some kids, they consume about 34 teaspoons a day of sugar. That's more than 2 20-ounce sodas. Nearly 1 in 4 teenagers are pre-diabetic or diabetic. This was never the case. When I went to medical school, there was not a single kid I ever saw who had prediabetes or was a type 2 diabetic. And flour, that's even worse than sugar. We consume about 146 pounds a year of flour. Think about it. That's 1 pound combined of flour and sugar every day for every man, woman, and child in America. And flour raises our blood sugar even more than table sugar, even whole wheat flour. So I recommend removing all the processed and refined carbohydrates and sugars from your diet, especially high fructose corn syrup. And if you have a little sugar once in a while, just recognize it's a recreational drug. It's not a staple of your diet, which is basically what it is for Americans. The next step is to eat real food. I mean whole, organic, fresh, local, unprocessed food. That means eating lots of colorful fruits and veggies. These colorful fruits and vegetables come loaded with brain-boosting stuff like phytochemicals or phytonutrients. These are things that are in plants that aren't vitamins or minerals or protein, fat, or carbs or fiber. They're these magical chemicals that help us heal. The dark, deep red yellows, oranges, greens, blues, they mean that the foods contain powerful anti-inflammatory, detoxifying, antioxidant-rich foods that are also energy-boosting and brain-powering. It's really superpowering your brain with eating these foods. Enjoy again an array of colorful plant foods like blueberries, dark leafy greens like kale, Swiss chard, spinach, watercress, arugula. All of these are very powerful. Even dark chocolate's good for your brain. All of these colorful fruits and veggies are called slow carbs as opposed to quickly absorbed carbs. Cauliflower and ice cream sundae fall into the same category of carbs, but you know the former is healthy and the latter isn't so healthy. Eating whole plant foods with plenty of fiber, small amounts of beans, non-gluten whole grains, nuts and seeds, all will help optimize your body's health and keep toxins moving out, keep your gut bacteria healthy, and as you'll come to find out, a healthy gut means a healthy brain. Next, I want you to eat plenty of healthy fat because your brain is made up of fat, and fats are the most important nutrients for our brain. In fact, 60% of your brain is made up of DHA, which is an omega-3 fat that you get from algae and fish, and by the way, breast milk. My brain worked pretty well before, but embracing fat, even good saturated fats like coconut oil and MCT oil, pushed my mental clarity through the roof. I provide an excellent, detailed, healthy fat food plan in my new book, Eat Fat, Get Thin. Now, at the same time, I want you to remove the bad fats. For so long, we've been told to avoid saturated fat. Instead, eat highly processed vegetable oils and other bad fats. Now, these fats are horrible for your brain. In fact, studies have shown that these omega-6 refined vegetable oils increase homicide, suicide, violence, crime. They are toxic to the brain and they create an inflamed brain. Now, it's interesting that 4 to 5 million years of human evolution occurred in a seafood-rich nutritional environment in which seafood was the main source of fats. There were no seed oils or bean oils that we use now to cook everything in, French fries, donuts, packaged foods, we have to ask ourselves what happens to our mind and our body when our nutritional environment radically changes this way. I mean, the amount of soybean oil in our diet is really unsafe. It's about 10% of our overall calories. And a lot of it has glyphosate from Roundup, which is a GMO-related herbicide. Research has found that homicide mortality in the United Kingdom dramatically increased with the increased consumption of soy oil with linoleic acid. Now, the same thing happened in the United States, as well as in Australia, UK, Canada, and Argentina. And conversely, the homicide mortality rates are inversely related to seafood consumption, meaning that the more seafood people eat in a society such as Japan, the less homicide they have. I'd say that's a good reason to stay away from bad fats like vegetable oil and trans fats, and eat plenty of healthy fats like wild fatty fish, nuts and seeds, olive oil, avocados, and obviously good quality saturated fats like coconut oil. Now, protein also plays a major role in brain health. We need about 30 grams of protein per meal to build muscle. And when you lose muscle, you age faster and your brain takes a huge hit. So you want to eat about 4 to 6 ounces of protein at every meal, including omega-3 eggs, nuts and seeds, grass-fed meat, wild fatty fish. And finally, I want you to supplement wisely. I recommend taking a high-quality multivitamin, as well as magnesium, vitamin D3, and omega-3 fats in the form of fish oil. Also, I encourage you to take probiotics, as well as the B vitamins, folate, B6, and B12. These are all necessary for optimal brain function. So just following these few steps alone can dramatically shift your health and your brain. Up next, we're going to talk about other root causes for brain disorders, including hormonal imbalances, inflammation, stress, gut dysfunction, and more. I'll see you there.